Mr. Chairman, and I want to thank our witnesses and thank you so much for your service to our country. We all know that maritime security is critical for us as a nation. The security of our supply chains and our allies across the Pacific is incredibly important, and certainly the Biden-Harris administration is focused on those goals. I want to also commend the Biden administration for reaching a historic AUKUS agreement with Australia and the UK that will provide Australia with submarine technology, which will bolster security in the Indo-Pacific region. In my district back in Long Beach, California, it's actually a historic Navy town. It was home to the Navy's first two aircraft carriers, the USS Lexington and Saratoga, and most of the Long Beach economy just a generation ago was really driven and was really developed through the Navy infrastructure and through all the amazing jobs that were across the region. Shipbuilding, of course, was once a huge industry here in the United States, but we also know it's long been in decline. 40,000 shipbuilding jobs were lost just under President Reagan, and the Long Beach shipyards actually closed in the 1990s, which caused a major economic blow to our local economy, but also to the economy of places across the West and the country. Now, I fully understand the importance of shipbuilding to communities all around the country. Long Beach has had to work hard to rebuild and reimagine itself after, of course, losing the Navy as its main source of economic driver and jobs. But that's transitioned to a port economy. The Port of Long Beach now handles trade valued at over $200 billion annually and supports over 2 million jobs across the United States in our supply chain. Now, this would not be possible without the freedom of navigation guaranteed, of course, by the United States Navy. Now, you can, of course, slice and dice numbers all you want compared to China or any other country, but I think the evidence is clear. We do have a strong Navy in the United States, and whether you look at the size of vessels, the number, experience, the quality of our service members, the number and quality of our aircraft carriers and advanced submarines, and even the number of missiles, the Navy is the most powerful in the world. No one in the world can do what you gentlemen do and what our Navy does. Now, we're facing new challenges in the 21st century, and the fast-moving technological environment creates real uncertainty for us. It's critical that we work across the aisle, and I look forward to doing so in this subcommittee with the administration and all of you to ensure we have the absolute best in innovation, manpower, and industrial base to keep us at pace. Now, the Biden-Harris administration is working to craft a plan to meet evolving military force needs and to adapt to emerging threats. Congress should be a constructive partner in planning and to give domestic producers more certainty in our shipbuilding plans. But it's also critical to note that we can't just, of course, throw money at the problem. There's a lot of ways of solving this challenge. And we can't reflexively count the number of vessels in our fleet or the number of dollars we devote to defense as measures alone. We should make sure that our investments deliver the security and the capabilities that we need. We need to also make choices about our priorities. We must support policies that rebuild our industrial base and our workforce. The real source of our power, of course, is also our economic strength, our industrial base, our moral leadership, and our allies and partners. We have learned hard lessons in the last few years, particularly in the war in Ukraine and the COVID-era supply chain disruptions that have emphasized so much in lessons learned for us here in our country. We can and should secure those supply chains while creating and protecting good union jobs. Investments like the CHIPS and Science Act, the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, the Inflation Reduction Act, all have contributed directly to security and, of course, in investing in American jobs. We've rebuilt our industrial base, we've promoted a secure, clean energy future for our supply chain, and ensured economic prosperity for so many more Americans. And as the saying goes, which we all know and I think is appropriate for this hearing, a rising tide raises all boats. Now, I'm glad we're having this hearing today, and I also want to briefly discuss another issue that's really important for us, for the American shipbuilding industry and our security, and that's our merchant marine fleet. In a crisis, American civilian vessels will be critical to supplying our allies and partners and our military. I understand that the Marine Corps is deepening its partnership with our merchant marine, which is really encouraging for us. Now, Congress can and should do more to support merchant marine shipbuilding, along with our ports and our supply chains. And Mr. Chairman, I hope to work with you on this critical issue. Finally, I want to stress an important point. No conflict is ever inevitable, and I want to warn this committee again against reckless or overheated rhetoric. Our goal, standing shoulder to shoulder with our allies, is to have the best possible Navy and cooperation in the world. With that, again, thank you both for being here and for your service. And Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
I'm pleased to